Welcome back to the channel, folks. Hope you're all doing alright. So today we are out hot tenting again. We are in the super light Onetigris Iron Wall. Really lightweight hot tent this, so I really like taking this out on decent hikes. I've got the Outbacker stove in there as well. I brought some compressed, it's like sawdust, briquette kind of things, what you chuck straight in. With it being so damp and wet everywhere, and I know from previous experience there's not much wood in this woodland. I'm actually in a all pine woodland just about. Really windy and rainy weather, as you've seen on the footage, and so I apologise for any interference with the mic. But yeah, it's absolutely miserable day. I think I kind of jinxed myself on the last video when I said that I'd been really lucky to keep getting good weather. So cheers, mate. But yeah, it's I've got my little hammock setup out here as well. Just to chill out on, so I don't have to hide away in the tent all day. Probably won't be getting the campfire going because there's not really any dead wood around here. I've been in this forest before. It's quite a young forest, so not many fallen trees or anything like that. I've brought all my kit in on the retro wagon again, as you've seen. Really handy bit of kit that. It's definitely paying itself off. So yeah, but I've got the I'll show you now. So I've got the half inner in here as well, and I've bought some stainless steel pot this time. I'm going to cook up a nice pie, and also I'm going to cook some chili con carne with rice later. But I'm actually going to try something with this to try and create like an oven to cook a Frey bentos pie in on top of there. So we'll see how that goes. With it being so windy as well, I've had to guy the flue pipe out from the top. Just stops it moving around in the night or anything like that. The tent's been guyed out on every single connector that it's got on it, so it's really sturdy for a TP style tent. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we won't have any mishaps in the night. Everything's nice and taut, and I'm happy with it. So yes, I'm going to potter around camp now, and we'll start getting something cooked up. I'm starving, so I'll catch you in a minute. Okay, so the setup I'm using tonight, I've got the Trekology UL80 sleeping pad, I've got the ALPKIT Bivvy, the OEX EV400 Phathom 4-season bag, and I've also got an inner in there. These are my thermals for tonight when it gets a bit chilly. And I've also got my wool jacket over there in case I get a bit chilly later. Okay, so I've got these fire logs there for tonight. I'm going to stick 1 or 2 of those in before I get in bed, and that should keep burning for 2 or 3 hours to keep the tent nice and warm. But for cooking, I bought some of these. These are like compressed sawdust briquettes. I'm not quite sure how long they burn for, but I'm sure we're going to find out soon. So I mean, it is a shame about the weather, but that being said, this is actually my favourite weather to go camping in. Nothing beats the sound of rain on a tent when you're inside cooking up dinner, all cosy. So pros and cons, you've got to take the rough with the smooth, and it's just good to experience all the seasons anyway when you're out camping. So right, let's get this dinner cooked. Okay, so I bought some of these, not actually sure what they are, just like wood shavings that have been kind of glued together with something flammable, I guess. Get that in there. Make sure the dampener's open. try one of these briquettes. Okay, so the idea I've got with this pie is I'm going to use my stainless steel pot and just hang it straight over the top to create like an oven, but I'm going to leave a little gap on one side just for any pressure to escape. Well folks, I'm pleased to say it worked. A little oven idea on top of the stove worked a treat. It took 55 minutes. Usually in a normal oven at home it would take about 45 minutes for one of these Frey Bentos pies. Got the minced beef and onion, my favourite. Yeah, really hot. All the way through. Perfect, still raining as I'm sure you can hear. As I said earlier, there's no better feeling sitting here by the stove, toasty warm, and just looking out into the windy, rainy weather. Gets me excited. I'm going to polish this off, drink my coffee up, and then we'll move on to something else. Evening folks. Right, as you've just seen, I've changed out of my waterproofs now. Changed into my thermals. Not that I need them because it's got to be 30 plus in here, really warm and toasty. I've took my socks off and put them by the stove because they need drying out. Got them a little bit wet earlier. Got a repair I need to make on one of my wellies. It's letting a bit of moisture in. But yeah, I've decided to retreat into the tent. The wind's getting really strong now, and the rain just keeps, it's on and off every few minutes. So retreat to the tent, going to relax for a little bit. I just want to explain a few things to you though, if you're new to hot tenting. There's a few things that you really need to be careful with when you're hot tenting. The first, if you can and you really are panicking, then it's a good idea to take a small carbon monoxide detector with you, just for peace of mind in the night. If, say, I don't know, your ventilation on your tent for some reason doesn't work as it should, then that's going to alert you. The other things are, obviously in windy weather you really need to make sure your tent's fixed down to the floor. Every couple of hours I've just been going around and stamping on the pegs, just making sure they're in there nice and good. Also keep an eye on your flue pipe where it meets the opening of the stove jack or whatever you're using, because it can sway. The tent can slightly move under tension and whatnot, and if it really does push over to one side, you're going to start melting your tent, and nobody wants that. Another one, as you've seen me do on this video, is putting guy lines on your flue pipe from the top 3 points down to the floor. That just stops, again, that swaying about in strong gusts. If you are going to do that, do not tie paracord to the top. As you've seen me do earlier, I've used little carabiner clips just to separate that from the heat, because otherwise it'll just melt straight off as soon as the flue pipe gets really hot. So that's a hazard in itself. But yeah, I just thought I'd explain those little things. A lot of people they don't favour having any kind of inner in a hot tent. Myself, I've not had any trouble. I've got this half inner. It's just a bit of added comfort really, if you can afford to take the extra size and weight out with you. This obviously keeps all the slugs and bugs off you. But apart from that, happy hot tenting. It's one of the best things camping wise in the winter. Nothing beats it. Yeah, that's it really. Can't think of any more. Oh, and another one, a big one actually. Always, when you're getting in and out of the tent and opening and closing the door with a zip, make sure you either zip it back up or it's rolled shut. Because if you walk away and a little bit of wind gets up and it blows your door back into your stove, it'll just stick to the stove and melt it straight away. So yeah, a few little tips for you. So I'm going to relax now, and I'll probably get something to eat later, and I'll check back in with you. The one and only. Cheers again, everybody. You can't beat a hobgoblin. I don't care what anybody says. Okay, so I just want to show you a new bit of kit that I got not too long ago. This is the OAX Powerlux. It's a lantern, but also doubles up as a power bank. Tried and tested it now over a couple of weeks, and I have the light on all night, and it's not even half gone when I come to charge it again. So I'll go through the settings with you. So you've got 4 settings on your normal white light. So you've got this one. There will be some interference on the camera there. That's just the light running at a different rate to the camera. So you've got your first setting, mid setting, high beam, and that one is actually called the lantern setting. But then you can also switch to a red light, constant, got a red flash in, and that's a red SOS light. Really easy to flick back between the two. As I say, really bright light, really handy to have, not only for the light but as a backup for any power supply you need. Yeah, I just thought I'd share that with you. Right, I've had a bit of relaxation time. I let the stove die off. It's got a little bit chilly again now, so I've put the old wool jacket on and the beanie, and we're going to do meal number 2. Meal number 2 is chili con carne and golden vegetable rice. So I'm just stoking the stove back up now, and we'll get cooking. I have also found with these briquettes, they burn a lot better if you break them up. So I've been breaking them into 4 pieces per block. And then, they don't like to stay alight. Dinner number 2 is served. Right, I'm going to hurry up and eat this because it's absolutely roasted in here, so I need to take this jacket off. Right then folks, that second meal was lovely, filled a hole. Sorry about the hat hair, bit of hat hair going off. But anyway, I'm going to turn in for the night now. It's getting pretty late. The rain started again, so that should send me to sleep actually, listening to that. But yeah, I'm going to get my head down. Stove's going nicely, so that should keep me toasted for a couple of hours, and I'll catch you guys in the morning. Morning folks. Okay, so it's about 5 AM. I'm not sure why I woke up that early, but I've woke up and I'm fine. It's really chilly this morning. It's about 1 degree, but it feels a lot colder than that. I think it's the breeze that's coming through. We had a lot of rain last night. I've just shown you in the cart, the red cart, there's about 1 inch of water, and that's underneath a lot of dense pine foliage as well, so it just shows you how much we've had. Really windy night as well. I had to have the earplugs in last night. Pleased with the setup of the tent though. The guy lines on the flue pipe and whatnot, it's only moved about 1 millimetre. I'll show you that in a minute. Hardly tell it's moved. And yeah, that's it. Not a bad night's sleep. I'm really impressed with the Trekology pad. You probably can't tell on the video light, but I'm on a slight slope, but the pad kept me completely in the centre of the pad all night. So yeah, pretty pleased with that. It gave rain out in about an hour. I've just checked the weather, so I'll probably get squared away and I'll head off hopefully for about 6-7 o'clock. There's no point waiting until it's gone 8 AM nowadays until we get daylight. So yeah, but all in all a decent night. I didn't wake up cold or anything like that. It's just really cold now. One more thing to report on those briquettes, that compressed sawdust, absolute garbage for this kind of stuff. I think they're really made for the stoves what you have in the house that are really hot. They struggle to keep burning. The other one that you light before you chuck in the bag, they're really good, but the briquettes they're not for this kind of stuff. I don't think. Really hard to keep going. The log burner is still slightly warm, but that's just because I shut it down on the damper and the vent last night. They've also gave out a lot of residue. Not sure what what they've been compressed with to stick together, but there's a lot of residue coming out one of the pipe joints. I'll show you that in a minute. But yeah, I'm going to get squared away and I'll probably check back in when I'm leaving. Yeah, in a minute. So a slight bit of movement, not sure if it was the tent or the flue. Still not quite touching the side of the hole, but I'm really happy with that, especially with the bad weather. Okay, and there's all the residue that's leached out the pipe. Right then folks, that's it for this camp. As always, thank you for watching, really much appreciated. I'll see you guys on the next one.